So God blesses countries, but great nations are built by great nation builders, not just citizens. And we found out that nation builders have 4 characteristics. I call them A, B, C, and B. Somebody say A. We found out that nation builders accept responsibility for the future of their nation. In other words, they are not constantly only looking for who to blame. They are not sitting down waiting for something to happen. They are the make it happen kind of people. And when you think about the word responsibility, how many words come together to form responsibility? How many words come together?
2 words.
2 words. What are they? Response and ability. So what you're saying to me is that these words, response and ability, is what forms responsibility. True or false? Yes. So let's look at it this way. Yes? Let's do response. Click Oscar. Oscar, click the space bar. And then do responsibility. Click the space bar here. Alright. So now look at it. Response, what is this? I and... But I is what? Is it a word or a letter?
It's a word.
Oh, it's a word. Oh, so Oscar, click please. So now it's response ability, isn't it?
Yes.
So what does that mean? How many words come together to form responsibility?
3.
So not 2, 3. What does response ability mean? I want somebody to quickly say to me. Who's going to do that? Response ability. Please. What of it?
From what I understand from it, means I will respond to my ability.
I will or I must.
I must respond to my ability.
So no matter what is going on, who has the ability to respond?
I.
But nothing will change until what happens?
I respond.
So as long as I'm waiting for somebody else to respond, I'm going to continue to sit down, look, waiting and hoping for a change. That was what our parents did. That's what they have taught us. And if we do not change, that is what we will teach the next generation. And every time somebody says it's up to you, you get angry. How can they? How dare them? Well, you remember, we don't know who they are. We have not seen them before. The only people that we know that have the capacity to change is who? I. Tell somebody, respond I ability. So that is A. Somebody say with me B. The second thing is that nation builders believe in their potential and the greatness of the nation. They recognize that no matter what the problems we are facing is, Nigeria is still a blessed country. And we can still build Nigeria. Does anybody know any country God blessed more than Nigeria? The blessings are still in the land. The blessings are still in the people. And yet, for whatever the reason is, the people have not come to the place of believing that they can make a difference. Tell somebody next to you, believe it. Do you know the greatest blessing that God gave Nigeria? It was not our gold across Zamfara and all of those other places. It was not platinum in Suleja. It was not oil in the Niger Delta. The greatest gift that God gave Nigeria was you. When they prayed for God to bless the country, He answered by putting you in the womb of your mother. That was the answer to the prayer. But you have to believe that it is possible. Then see, let's go. Now you have to commit. If you are going to be a nation builder, you have to be willing to commit your time, your energy, your resources to deliver the future of the nation. Ask the person next to you, are you a nation builder? Or just a citizen? Now let me be clear. Who are the people that will give your children the kind of nation that your children will be grateful to inherit? Who are they? Are they citizens or nation builders? When you are old and you can no longer move with the kind of power, when you no longer have the power of the pen to write, to lift or to destroy, when you are in retirement, who are the people that will determine what kind of nation you are going to live in? Nation builders. So ask the person next to you, are you a nation? Tell the person next to you, I need you to be a nation builder. Tell the person next to you, I need you to accept responsibility. I need you to believe in our capacity together. I need you to commit your time, your energy, your resources. And I need you to deliver a great nation. Your children need you to deliver a great nation. My children need you to deliver a great nation. And we cannot be a wasted generation. No, saints, we must not be a wasted generation. Now. So we realize that there are only two kinds of generations. Please pay attention. There is the generation that is the wasted generation, but there is another generation that is called the great generation. A great generation is the generation that leaves a better country and a better nation for its children than it was that it was born in. And what we found out is that nation builders are the ones that will make it happen. Who are nation builders? Listen to this. Can we read this together? 1, 2, 3, go. Nation builders. Who love their country? I need one person who is going to read this out to me. Who is going to volunteer? You are going. Please, everybody, listen very carefully.
Okay, nation builders are driven by a shared vision of a respected nation, of distinguished citizens where every citizen has equal access to opportunities to fulfill their dreams of a better life and their hopes for a brighter future, based on merit and hard work without having to know anyone.
How many people want to live in that kind of nation? Sorry guys, are you thinking about this now? How many of us would like our children to be able to move ahead as far as they can move in life? Whether they know anybody or do not know anybody. If they write an exam and they pass, they will be able to get in. And nobody will ask them, who do you know? Do you know the lecturer? Do you know the VC? Has this ever happened in Nigeria's history before? Yes. Did it ever happen at some point in Nigeria? Yes. Now, guys, everybody, please be quiet. Quiet down. Sorry, guys. So, if it has happened before, can it happen again?
Yes. In my time. In my time.
It may not.
Listen.
Serious paradigm.
I want us to watch a quick video. I want you to see what it was once. And we can look at a nation that nation builders came together to build. And see how that nation was honored by the rest of the world. Are you able to show Tafa by the way? Please watch these few minutes of this clip. And I want you to see how the world treated us in 1961. July 1961, when we were only 9 months old as an independent nation. Please watch this.
the invitation of the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. Waiting at the airport to greet him are Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson, Secretary of State Dean Rusk, Mr. Joseph Palmer, the American Ambassador to Nigeria, and other high-ranking American officials. Accompanying the Prime Minister is Minister of Foreign Affairs Wachuku, Ambassador Udochi, and Minister Shagari and Benson, and other key members of the Nigerian government.
Mr. Prime Minister, I am honored to welcome you and the distinguished members of your party to the United States. This welcome is only the beginning. You will find as you travel through this country a very deep and genuine interest in the exciting developments which are taking place in your country and in Africa today.
I am very pleased to be with you in Washington today, and I look forward to the week which we are to spend among you. I have no doubt that the American people will receive us all the kindness that they also receive strangers. This is just a brief reply to your very warm address of welcome. Thank you.
An official motorcade now conveys Prime Minister Balewa to the center of Washington. Many friendly Americans are waiting to welcome Sir Abubakar to his home in Washington. During his stay in the American capital, the distinguished visitor will reside at the Blair House, the special residence for guests of the American president. Just across the street from the Blair House is the White House, where President Kennedy awaits Prime Minister Balewa. The two leaders are meeting to discuss matters of mutual and international interest. In a joint communique summarizing the outcome of their deliberations, they reaffirm their support for the principle of self-determination for dependent peoples and their unalterable opposition to racial discrimination under any name or in any guise. President Kennedy expressed his pleasure at the success of the Monrovia Conference and congratulated the Prime Minister on his constructive contribution. The two leaders affirmed their confidence that their exchange of views had strengthened the bonds of friendship between their two countries. The next stop for Sir Abubakar is a memorial to one of America's best-loved presidents, Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln Memorial is a goal for every visitor to the American capital. Tourists from all over the world are drawn by a reverence for the man known by all men as the great emancipator. As they stand before the statue of Lincoln, the Prime Minister and his party remember the words in which Lincoln addressed his countrymen. He called upon them to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves, and with all nations. Sir Abubakar and his party see a monument to America's first president, George Washington, as they leave the Lincoln Memorial. A group of children proudly display the placard which Prime Minister Balewa has autographed for them.
Please, because of time, I would ask if you'd like to watch this to its conclusion, just go on YouTube and type out in the search button, Tafawa Balewa visit to the United States 1961. I believe that every Nigerian child should watch that video. How many people agree with me? You know why? I believe that it is imperative that every Nigerian should know that we have had a heritage of greatness, of honor, of respect and renown. And the only difference between human beings and non-humans, animals included, is that the human being is given the capacity to learn from yesterday to improve tomorrow. In other words, everyone who is a human being cannot settle for the fact that my best days have already passed. What makes you special amongst all of the creatures that God ever made is that we can see and ask ourselves, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And what can we do now? Is it okay for us to just ask 3 questions? Ask the person next to you, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? And what can we do now? To give up on your future is giving up on your first and fundamental human rights. It is up to you to decide what kind of future you are going to live in. My mother used to say something special. Somebody may want to write it down. She would say to me, your past cannot be changed, but you have no right to allow your future to catch you by surprise. Your past cannot be changed, but you have no right to allow your future to catch you by surprise. Meaning that, listen to me, you may not be able to do anything about the things that have happened, but it is well within your responsibility to choose what will happen to you. Only a wasted generation says, "Ke sera sera." Whatever will be, will be. What is going to happen in Nigeria, the future we cannot see. A generation that will change its future must first and foremost accept that the responsibility to build the future starts with. Your children were not cursed to have been born to you. And God knows all things and still decided that you will be born in Nigeria for such a time as this. Why? Because God knew that He gave you everything required for you to solve the problems of your time. Why were you not born in 1912 like Tafawa Balewa? Because at that time the issues required a level of sophistication that they could deal with. They didn't have cybercrime. They couldn't solve the problems of our time. And I promise you, you cannot solve the problems of your children's time. But the problems of your own time are within your right to solve. And for many of you, your gift is the pen. For some of you, your gift is the keyboard. It's the ability to shape and influence the way people think about Nigeria. When I was growing up, my mother would put out newspapers every day and ask me at 4 o'clock, after lunch and a bit of sleeping, or siestas, they call it at that time. And then she would tell me to read the first 4 pages of the newspaper and look for a word that I did not know the meaning. And I must find it. And if I don't find any word that I didn't know the meaning in the first 4 pages, she'll say, go to page number 5. Until you find a word that you don't know the meaning of, my mother is not going to, you will finish reading the whole paper. But do you know that my mother could entrust her faith and her son to the editors of a newspaper, believing that they will not write bad English inside. Believing that whatever they wrote for the day will be something that will inspire her son to want to be great. Believing that it will not be bad news that they will saturate the whole paper with, thinking that bad news sells. Because you see, there is something that we don't understand many times. That listen, that whenever I look at you, I cannot see what is behind you. And when I turn around and look at this stage, I cannot see you. Is it because you are not there? Sorry, is it because you are not there? So that tells you that focus creates blindness. It is not that, listen to this, it is not that there is nothing good and nothing bad to write. It is just that what we will read on the pages of newspaper are going to be the ones we decide to focus on. Every generation must remember this. A few years ago, I was doing something called a media leadership tour. And I went to some of the newspaper houses, Guardian, Punch, This Day. I went around. Some of you, I don't know if anybody was there when I came to your newspaper. One of the things I did at that time was I asked the newspaper, I said, let us look for positive and negative headlines and sublines. And what we did was we took newspapers not only from the media house I was visiting, but other media houses. And then I would say, let's read together. And all of us will read. And I will ask the people at the table, is this positive or negative? What do you think they were finding out? Page 1, negative. Page 2, negative. Page 3, negative. The keywords there, something, attack. Something, stolen. Something. And by the time they went on, in that newspaper, in the room, in the editorial suite, they were surprised to see what they had written. And I asked them, if any child reads this newspaper, will they want to leave Nigeria or stay in Nigeria? And all of them agreed that based on what we read, the only way for a child is out. Now, is it that I was asking the newspapers to lie? No. I asked them to be future sensitive. I said, interpret every situation in a way that we can get a lesson from it. Write every headline in a way that will make us better people because we read it. I said to them, please do all you can. Use every tool, every editorial tool, because there is a child like me whose parents is entrusting you with the ability to teach them how to write good English. And when they listened to me, I said to them there are only two kinds of reporters. I said there are media reporters and then there are leaders in the I said a leader is somebody who shapes and influences the mind of the reader to become a better version of themselves. That is the greatest paradigm shift that we were able to accomplish at that time. As I bring my thoughts to a complete close, please listen to me. There was Nigeria before you were born, and Nigeria will continue to remain after you are born. The only thing is which Nigeria will you give account to God that you left. Because you will never be judged by the nation you were born in. You will only be judged by the nation you die in. Meaning that the nation that your parents gave to you, you will not be responsible for. But you will be held responsible for the nation you give to your children. And I know that many of us love our children. How many of us will say we love our children? Even the ones that are single, are still, as in people that don't have children. The reason why you are going out in the morning is because of your children. But do you realize that it is one thing for you to go and build the future for your children? It is another thing for you to build your children for the future. This is the two most important things that every generation must do. And when I realized that it was not enough for me to go and make money and build a great empire for myself and my children, I have to build my children for the future. I have to not only create value for my children, I have to put values in them. And the values I put in them will be what they will use to create value in their own time. Omotako, no man, beneta, kota. That simply means literally, a child that was not raised on the right values will devalue every inheritance that he has. And he will sell it for pittance. It is not enough that you go out in the morning working hard to put food on the table. You've got to be able to feed your children with the kind of values that will cause them to give your grandchildren a great nation. Listen to this. We are told by the holy books that a good man, and I believe this is male and female, leaves an inheritance for who? Is it for his children? No. It is his children's children. What does that mean? It means you have the responsibility to make sure that your children are not only good children, they are good parents. Because without them being good parents, your grandchildren will never get your inheritance. Somebody say future sensitive. You have to think beyond one generation. You have to build a better nation for the next generation and build a better next generation to be founders of the next generation. Now, Fela, this is too much for me to bear. How can you be putting this kind of responsibility on me? 220 million people and you expect me to be the one that fixes it? Well, let me start by saying, I don't expect you to fix Nigeria. I only expect you to help me fix yourself. So that when the people who look at you see what you have done to yourself, they will want to do it. In other words, I only want you to be the best version of yourself. And hopefully, as you do that, you will inspire other people to be the best version of you. Is that too much to ask for? No, tell me honestly, be honest with me. Is that too much to ask for? No. Now, let us imagine that you alone choose to be a better version of yourself. And 5 people are inspired by you, just seeing how you are an excellent journalist, an excellent reporter, that you are literally the icon of your profession. When they notice that you write so eloquently, and you write so eruditely, that so excellently, that they want to become better journalists because of you. And as they become better journalists, they are inspiring somebody else to also want to be a better journalist. What do you think will happen to our industry in a short time? Is anybody? Is there anybody still talking to me here? What's going to happen? It will blossom. But then, I found out 10 things that I decided not only to live by, but also to give my children as the values that they will live by. And I'm just going to tell you what they are, if you can find it. 10 things. Number 1, I decided and committed that I was going to make, as a family, we will make a positive impact on everyone we meet and everywhere we go. And what a positive impact means is that we must leave everyone we meet better than the way they were before we met them. That if anybody should listen to my words, they should be better. They should feel brighter. They should feel greater. How many of you here would like your children to live everywhere they go better than the way it was when they got there? Let me be at least let me be sure. If you are writing with your hand, then put your left hand up. Then the second thing that I taught my children, I said we must be solution providers and not part of the problem to be solved. I taught my children, don't ever be the reason why they will call you to the principal's office to discipline you. Be on the disciplinary committee. Don't throw something on the floor hoping that somebody else will come and pick it up. I taught my children, don't use the toilet and hope somebody else will flush it for you. I said, don't sit down on the table and leave the table worse than it was when you got there. Simple, simple, simple. The third thing I taught my children, I said we must be role models worthy of emulation. I said I wanted us to be the example of what we hope everybody else will do. And I committed to my children, I said I will drive in a way that if everybody else drove like me, then we will have free traffic. I will arrive at my office at a time when if everybody else arrived at that time, we will open on time. I will do my work in a way that if everybody else behaved like that, we will have excellence all around. But the last promise I made to my children, does anybody want to know what it is? Yeah. I said, I'm going to be the best Nigerian that I can expect anybody else to be. The fourth thing that I said was we must commit to be our best in all we do, particularly the things we are naturally gifted at. God has given each and every one of us a gift. It's called a talent. I said we have to find the way to use our talents to serve humanity. But it is not enough. We must be excellent. Somebody say excellent. Excellent. Are you still listening to me? Yes. I know you are quiet, but are you really taking it in? Yes. Look at the person next to you and say, be excellent. Be excellent. I told my children that they must be personally excellent. That they must be excellent in everything that they do. And that excellence simply means doing the best with what you have, right where you are at the time that you can. The fifth thing I taught my children was that they must have the courage to do the right thing at all times, regardless of who is doing the wrong thing. I told them that multitude does not make the wrong thing right. That many people are doing the wrong thing does not make it all right. That you must have the courage to stand and decide that you will do the right thing, even if the whole world is shouting that it is okay to do the wrong thing. And then I told my children that we must value time and make the best use of it. I told them that the two best time zones that exist cannot be found on any calendar or any wristwatch. Can somebody please tell me, how many days of the week do we have? 7. Let's count them. Let's be sure that we know. Monday, come on. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and... But where is today? Is today on any calendar? You cannot find today on any calendar. Neither can you find now on any wristwatch. And yet, today and now are the best 2 time zones. Today is the best day of the week, and you cannot find it on the calendar. Now is the best time of the day, and you cannot find it on any wristwatch. Those who know the power of now and today will always win. I taught them that lifetime is the most descriptive word of itself. I told my children, time is life and life is time. I said, when you waste somebody else's time, you are committing murder. And when you waste your own time, you are committing suicide. I told my children we must value time and make the best use of it. Then I told them to care and show respect to all through our words and our actions. I taught my children that to care means to be concerned about the well-being of a place or a thing or a person. I told them that respect is the art of bestowing honor on others. And that you must honor people whether they are great or small, male or female. I told them that you cannot care for something and not be concerned about how well it is being used. People buy cars, 10-year-old Tokumbo cars, they gather people to come and celebrate. 10 months later, they cannot sell that car for 1/10 of its price. Because the people who used that car cared about it and then gave it to somebody who does not care. And the guy will just drive over any bump, anything. And even when you want to say, why are you driving like that? I say the roads are not good. But look inside the car and find out, is the car even dirty? Is it the road that dirtied inside the car? Tell somebody next to you care and show respect through your words and your actions. Number 8 thing I told my children, I said consciously, we must consciously build a great legacy starting now, today, and every day. I told my children that their name was not actually inherited from me, it was borrowed from their children. That the name Fela Durotoye, or whatever they were going to give to their own children, was a name that they will have to build on behalf of their children. And their children will build it on behalf of their own children. That everything I was doing was to build a name that will open doors of opportunity for them. I told my children that your name can either be a padlock or a key. That depending on the way you do what you do, if you have done bad, your name will become a padlock that locks out people from opportunities, especially when they carry your name. I said, if you have done well, your name will open doors. I told my children I was working hard to make sure that I opened as many doors, but it was their responsibility to walk into those doors and then improve on the legacy that they got from it. Number 9, I told my children that we must live a life of integrity and honor. I said to them, we must never say something that we hope that nobody will hear and we'll have to deny we said. I told my children, don't collect something that you have to deny you collected. I told my children, don't give something you will have to deny you. I told my children that people of integrity don't have cupboards because they don't have skeletons. And yet, I also gave them an example that if I told them I'm going to beat you and I beat you, is that integrity? They said, yes, Daddy. I said, therefore, it's not enough for you to keep your word, but you must keep a word that is honorable. Be a promise keeper. Say what you mean and mean what you say. And then the last thing I told my children was that we must all work hard to make our family, our nation, and our God proud. I told them that the reason why God gave everyone a son name is so that you don't feel lonely when you're on your journey. That you remember that you are from somewhere and that there are other people that will benefit from every action you take or will be disadvantaged by every action you take. So don't, even though you look in the mirror and you see only one person, there is a family that is behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, I put these things that I just taught you, I put them on a card. And from the age of 5, my children started to recite this card. The oldest one now is 22. The middle one, all of them are boys. The middle one is 21, and then the last one is 18. Last year, we received an award from Chrisland School. Sorry, 2 years ago. And we were given an award by Chrisland School because they wanted to honor my wife and I that in 46 years of the school's existence, the Fela Durotoye family was the first family to produce 3 head boys. Back to back to back. I'm not asking you to clap for me, but please clap for my children. Let me explain to you why I told you to clap for them. Because you see, in Chrisland, you cannot become head boy because you want to become head boy. In Chrisland, it is a nomination system that they use, which means that it is the students that will nominate the person that will become head boy, and then the students and teachers will vote. In one of the instances, my son was voted for by 83% of the school. Now, listen. When they asked the last one, what is it that your parents are doing? My last son said that my parents have told us since when we were 5 years old. Every day we say this thing. Now my question is, what will happen to a nation where 1 million people agree that they will make a positive impact on everyone they meet and everywhere they go? What will happen to that nation? Are you sure? Are you honest? What will happen to a nation where everybody decides that they will be solution providers and not part of the problem to be solved? What will happen to that nation? Eh? You are sure? Then in that case, can you tell the person next to you, be a solution provider? And not a part of the problem to be solved? What will happen to a nation? Listen to this guy. This is the end of my speech. What will happen to a nation where the people decide that they are going to be role models? What will happen to that nation? Huh? Prosperity. What if a nation exists that every one of them says, I will be the best in all I do? What will happen to that nation? What will happen to a nation where each person decides to do the right thing at all times? What will happen? What will happen to a nation where they value time? Trains leave on time, planes leave on time, every work starts on time. What will happen to that kind of nation? Do you want to know? What will happen to a nation where the people care and show respect to everyone? Whether you are a citizen or you are a guest, what will happen? What will happen to tourism in that nation? What will happen to a nation where they consciously are building a great legacy? And they decide that of all the legacies they can leave, the legacy of a better nation is the greatest legacy that they can do. What will happen to a nation where the people live lives of integrity and honor? Or they decide to make their nation, their God proud? What will happen? Can you go with me to the personal creed? Quickly, forward. So now I want some people to please take the opportunity right now to decide. Are you going to be the example for your children? Are you going to be the best at what you do and be an example to your colleagues? Are you going to be the best father and mother and be an example to your neighbors? Is there somebody here who is saying, I may not be able to change Nigeria completely, but that I can at least change one Nigeria? Who will be the greatest beneficiary of your best self? Who? You? So are you worth living your best life? If in that case you are, Oscar, do you have it? Then please say with me, this is my personal creed. Somebody say with me, this is my personal creed. I hereby commit to live a lifestyle of leadership and excellence, and to do all within my power to bring out the best in me and in others. And to this end, I will. Now please, I am seeing some people that are not saying it. And the reason why I'm actually happy for them is that at least they are people of integrity. Because you know that when you say this thing, you must mean it. So if you are not willing to live your own best life, that's all right. Please, don't lie to anybody, especially yourself. So I want only the people who are sure that they will try to do these things. I want those ones to be the ones that will rise on their feet. That you will, listen, you are going to try to live out your best life.
Now we.
You are going to try to be the best journalist. You are going to try to be the best. Are you ready? Please, listen, have the courage to sit down if it is not what you want. Have the courage to sit down. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Somebody say, I will bring out the best in me and in others. And therefore, I will make a positive impact on everyone I meet and everywhere I go. Say with me, I will be a solution provider. I'm not a part of the problem to be solved. Say with me, I will be a role model. Worthy of emulation. You know what is funny to me? Do you know that there are some people that are sitting down and saying it. And they are watching us stand up and say it, but they want to sit down and behave as if they don't mean it, but they still want all of us to be like this. Somebody please say with me, I will be my best.
I will do my best.
See them, see. In all that I do, particularly the things I'm naturally good at. Say with me, I will consciously build a great legacy. Starting now, today, and every day. Say with me, I will do the right thing at all times, regardless of who is doing the wrong thing. Sir, we don't want to force you. The problem is that the Nigeria we are going to live in, listen sir, the Nigeria that we are living in tomorrow is dependent on who you are today. Yes.
Bishop,
Yes. Now,
what you are telling us,
yes. Exactly.
so I will not have to repeat.
I agree.
My conviction.
I agree, sir. My question is, do you... Sorry guys, listen. I love this. It's supposed to be an interactive session. Everybody listen. Sir, do you hope that Nigeria and Nigerians will value time and make the best use of it? Do you? You know we can. Yes. So, but how can we do it when you don't want to live it? I'm already living it. So sir, so you value time and you make the best use of it. And I said, let us say it.
We should be here by 9 a.m. I was here for this program, right on time. I go to my events right on time. I don't go late. I make it a policy to respect time. I make it a policy to respect time, to avoid time, and to work with time.
So can I ask all of us to please give our role model a round of applause today? So sir, we want to honor you for your timeliness, and we hope that all of us can also learn to be like you. That is why we are saying to ourselves, we will value time. So, but sir, can you advise us that we must build a nation that will be a legacy for our children to build, to inherit? Would you be happy to advise us that? Sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Let's just wrap up. Are you ready? Tell the person next to you, I hereby commit to live a life of integrity and honor. I will never lie. I will not write falsehood. I will do all I can to verify before I publish. And lastly, say with me, I will make my family, my industry, my colleagues, my nation, and my God proud. So help me God. How many people are saying that? Please put your hands together. Now, as you sit down, please let me plead with us. Please sit down. I'm done. Thank you so much, sir.